Now, if you haven't seen the F3800, you gotta watch this video because I'm gonna go over all the dirty details on what works and what doesn't work, specifically how to make the solar get max solar input. I haven't seen anybody covering this, so I wanna let you know how you can get the maximum solar input into this. That way you can have it run your entire house, run your RV, whatever it is that you'd like to run. There's some basic things you want to know about it. The biggest thing is that it has a 6,000 watt inverter, can do 240 volt split phase power output, and the internal battery is 3.84 kilowatt hours with a solar input of 2,400 watts. It's very expandable, both in F3800 units as well as expansion batteries, and can easily run a house with up to 12,000 watts of output combined with the second unit. So I'm going to show you exactly how the F3800 is one of the top solar generators for backup power. The biggest thing that the F3800 has going for it is the high output. Now we have a 30 amp plug and a 50 amp plug, but this is still limited to 6,000 watts of output total, which is basically 240 volts at 25 amps, or as well 120 volts at 50 amps. And that's simply because volts times amps equals watts. The whole reason on why there are two 240 volt outlets is to simply make it easier for you. For me personally, what I chose to do was get what's called an interlock switch. An interlock switch basically allows me to completely shut off the grid and run my entire house or my entire electrical panel off of any solar generator or any gas generator. I did that because I didn't want to be tied to one system for decades. But all I did is have an electrician install an SS2-50P generator inlet. This is like $80 to $100 from Home Depot or Lowe's or any hardware store. I just had my electrician get it, and they installed this within about an hour. So it's very affordable and easy to use. I simply use this adapter, which is an SS250R, and I have an L1430 connection, which is the smaller connection down here. And then I have this extension cord that I run throughout my garage so I can keep the F3800 anywhere I want. I simply plug in this adapter, I push this in right here, twist it into place, and it's locked. The smaller outlet is technically designed for 7,200 watts, which greatly exceeds the output of a single F3800. So there's no need to go to the NEMA 1450, which is the bigger plug up here. But if you already have that cable, like I keep a spare one right here with an SS250R connection already, then basically it saves you $100 from having to buy all these extra adapters. Now, one of the cool things about the F3800 is you're not stuck with their solar panels. You can use pretty much any solar panel you want. So here I have a 100 watt solar panel, a 200 watt, and a 400 watt. Same here, 100, 200, and 400. These are just on my patent pending legs. And I'll have a separate video about those as well as where you can find them. But each one of these panels is going to output different voltage and amperage. And you can find all of that information. See, these different panels all have stickers on the back of them to show you all the different voltage and amperage for each panel. So generally there are 4 different ratings that you're going to want to look at. And you'll notice that 2 of the 4 have MP in them. And that just stands for maximum power, or what it should be doing when operating and outputting power. The other 2 are different. See, this one says VOC and this one says ISC. I actually stands for amperage, and V stands for voltage, and P actually stands for power, which means watts. So P is watts, V is voltage, I is amperage. And if you take these numbers and you multiply them together, then it's going to show you your rated wattage. But we cannot ignore these 2 other numbers, because when these solar panels are in sunlight, they're going to make more volts just sitting here not outputting any amperage. Then when they are outputting amperage, the voltage drops. So your VOC is your open circuit voltage, and that's pretty much the maximum voltage that the panel is capable of making. And the ISC is your short circuit current, current meaning amps, and that's basically the max amps it's capable of making. And if you multiply these 2 numbers together, it'll be more than 100 watts. So when it comes to the voltage parameter on the F3800, we have to make sure that the VOC is below the max number and the VMP is above the minimum number. And when we connect panels together in series, which means panel 1 to panel 2 to panel 3, we increase our voltage. So here our voltage is 21.4, and the max voltage on the F3800 is 60. So by putting 3 of these 100 watt panels together, I will be exceeding the 60 volt maximum input. So that means I can only put 2 of these 100-watt panels together and be below the 60-volt mark. And then I'll be making about 5.5 amps once the power is being produced. And the maximum amperage was 25 amps. So I could put 10 panels, or rather I could have 5 groups of panels, with each group having 2 panels connected in series. So in that regard, I can use these 100-watt panels to get 1,000 watts into each MPPT for 2,000 watts of solar input. Now here we're on the 210-watt panel. We can see that the VOC is actually less than what is on the 100-watt panel. So our open circuit voltage is below 20 volts. So we can put 3 of these together and stay below the 60-volt max. And then we're going to be getting 12.5 amps for every group of 3 that we have together. So in this case, I can actually take 6 of these 210-watt panels. So I'm going to get 1,260 watts of solar input. So by doing that twice on each of the solar inputs, I'll be at 2,520 watts of solar input. So this 210-watt panel is definitely a much better fit. The problem is this panel is years old. I've had it for a very long time and it is discontinued. And so we just need to look for solar panels that have less than 20 volts on the VOC. Seems to be the trick for the F3800. So here on my 400-watt panel, we can see that our open circuit voltage, or VOC, is 36.8. So in this case of my 400-watt panel that I generally use to run my house, this would actually likely be the worst setup because I'd have to put 2 of these together, one by itself and another by itself, parallel them together to be at 30.8 volts, and then together at that point it would be basically 25 amps through the charge controller, and I'm only going to be able to get about 800 watts onto each charge controller. Even though the F3800 works with all of these solar panels in different ways, if I wanted to get the maximum solar input, I'm definitely going to choose the 210-watt panel, wholly for the fact that its VOC, or its open circuit voltage, or rather the maximum possible voltage, is below 20 volts. Then it's going to be possible to get about 2,500 watts into the whole system, which would be awesome. Now in this case, each one of these is supposed to be able to do up to the 60 volts and 25 amps, and it auto detects basically which voltage parameter you're in, and it automatically limits the amperage input depending on your voltage input. So you always want to try to be above 32 volts VMP, so that way you can get more amps in. Now collectively, these will do 2,400 watts of solar input, or 1,200 watts between each one, which makes even more sense on why the 210-watt panel is going to work best. And I'll have a link down in the description below on which panel I have found to have the right voltage. Now the battery on the F3800 is 3.84 kilowatt hours, or the same as 3,840 watt hours. Here I'm running this upright air conditioner that I use to keep my garage cool in the summer. And you can see I'm using 1,250 watts in order to keep this running, which is about 8,000 BTUs. So if I was running that directly off of one of these outlets, I would be able to run that air conditioner for about 3 hours. For a point of reference, it's about 76 degrees here in my garage, even though this air conditioner has been running for hours. In my RV though, that has a lot less insulation than my house, I'm running this 9,000 BTU Mr. Cool at 70 degrees. And it's currently 69.8 degrees here in the RV. I've simply had this on the auto mode at 70 degrees. And right now, because the RV is already at temperature, it's just using 9 watts in order to run the fan. So I'm going to go ahead and switch this to cool mode at 70 degrees with the fan on high. So now I'm only using about 160 to 170 watts for 9,000 BTUs of air conditioning. So I'm saving 400 watts while getting colder air. So it may be worth, if you want more runtime out of your batteries, to upgrade to something like a Mr. Cool Mini Split or any other brand. I just like the Mr. Cools because they're easy to install by yourself, and you can extend your battery life while getting better results for air conditioning. So I think one of the coolest things that you can do with the F3800, and the reason why I like solar generators so much, is the versatility. You have 240 volt capability to run a whole house, but you also have the 50 amp. But that also means you can run, stop! Jeez. But that also means you can run 30 amp and 50 amp RVs very easily. Pair this with 6 200-watt solar panels with a VOC lower than 20 volts. You'll have 2,400 watts of solar input, which is your max input. Make your RV and your house more efficient using a mini split air conditioner or energy efficient fridge, whatever you need to back up. And then as well, get the expansion batteries that go with the F3800 and drastically increase how long you can run without the grid. You also do have the capability on the side here to add another F3800, which is going to double your solar input as well as double your battery expandability. That's a way that you could truly run an entire house and then back up or run an RV very easily. Now, one thing that I've had issues with other units is the design. They're very short and long, which makes them a little less practical in putting them in different places. With this one, because it can also tilt onto its back, it's very easy to keep under a desk, slide under a bed, keep in a closet. I've really found it easy to store in a variety of places, including in my RV, in my garage, in my house. It really does fit in a lot of easy places. I really do think that Anker Solix has figured out a really good system. It's very versatile, expandable, it has decent solar input, really easy to connect to a house. And if you'd like to have this compared to other systems that have 240 volt split phase power, then comment down below split phase power comparison, and I'll make videos comparing this to other systems that are similar in output. Remember to visit poweredportablesolar.com for all of your backup and off-grid power needs. Reach out to me at info@poweredportablesolar.com if you have any questions. Be prepared, and I'll see you guys in the next video.